Your life experiences in their manifested form have taken on such a form of reality to you that they consume you in almost your undivided attention. So most of you are offering most of your vibration in response to what you are observing, which means it's a perpetuation of the same. But even within that perpetuation of the same, you are finding new rockets of desire. And so your vortex is continually being renewed by you, but there is so much in your vortex that you do want that you have not yet allowed yourself to really receive. It's like out here in physical form, almost everyone is looking for a relationship, a renewal of a relationship, from a basis of feeling a bit insecure or a bit not enough or a bit like there's something more that they need. It's a little bit of instability. And so this is just one example. So people are jumping into the conversation of how can I get a relationship, or how can I make the relationship that I've got better? And we say you're jumping in at too much of a manifested point, because the momentum is already so far down the road on that you can't get there from here. And in fact, stay with us. You're so wise if you're able to do this, and we feel most of you still here. As you get into your vortex and you start reaching for the feeling, getting ready to get ready to get ready to get ready, what you will eventually come to realize is that you're not looking for your security from another person. You're looking for your stability from your connection to your source energy. And once you find your connection to your source energy, then everything in your relationship all along the way smooths out, and you have the most delicious relationships with others, because you're not looking for love in all the wrong places, and you're not looking for security in all the wrong places. You've found it, and now you're bringing it forward into the relationship rather than demanding that the relationship give it to you. It's like the difference between needing to see it before you believe it never ever works, because you've got to be in the vibrational place, which means you're believing it before you're going to allow yourself to receive it. And so one of the things that's really wonderful about you all is that you listen to us babbling about vibration and about getting ready to be ready, when the fact of it is you're standing smack dab in the middle of a relationship that's making all kinds of demands on you. You've already agreed to this. You already have children, or you already have relationships. You already have a job. You already have things that others are expecting from you and you're expecting from them. And so it sounds like crazy talk to listen to someone say, just let all that go for a little while. Let all that go for a little while and just get ready to rediscover it in new ways. But that really is what we're asking. Just 15 minutes a day of getting more ready. And what you will begin to discover is that there is so much more potential right under your nose that you're not letting in. You don't need another relationship in most cases for it to be wonderful, and you don't need to move to another city. You don't even need to be in a different location. There is so much that you think you need to change in order to feel good. It's a very conditional response to life. And we're just asking for a little while, that instead of asking a condition to change so that you can have a better feeling response, we're just asking you to be unconditional in your love. Set all of that aside for just a little while and find love. Find that satisfying place, and then let it morph into the conditions that are pleasing. So we might be saying, yep, we're saying it. Yes, it's exactly what we're saying. You're not going to change those conditions. You're going to change a vibration that leads to a vibration that leads to a vibration that leads to a vibration that will allow a change in a condition. So when we say to you, your inner being knows all of that path and is ready to jump in with you with whatever information you're ready to receive. So now as you just take the first step of just deciding that you are going to get it 15 minutes earlier if it's necessary in order to find a little time of quiet in your mind, and you find yourself feeling the satisfaction of that, then what will happen is when you feel that first thought burst into your mind and you realize that a vibration has turned to a thought and you witnessed it, that you quieted your mind and then you witnessed the becoming of a thought, and then you were able to maintain it enough that the thought gathered some momentum until the thought turned from satisfying to a really interesting, enthusiastic thought. And then you saw rendezvous begin to happen, and you actually felt yourself wanting to say, the magic has started. It's not magic. We just like that word because the forces of the universe are cooperating on my behalf, and I'm ready. The feeling of satisfied, worthy readiness is going to consume you. And from then on, you're on your way. From then on, you will come closer and closer to knowing that there is nothing that you cannot be or do or have. You'll just know it. And so then, right away, just with the first few days of this slight shift within you, when you were reminded of something that you've wanted before that has given you angst just to think about it, because you knew what you want, you just don't know how or where or when or who. But now that thought feels more soothing to you because you just say softly to yourself, well, I'll be ready to be ready to be ready to be ready to allow that. And meanwhile, I'm really enjoying that. So you begin to enjoy the unfolding. And what's so wonderful about that is that you're always going to be unfolding. You're never going to get to the place where it's all manifested. Looking for life the way most people are looking for it can never bring you satisfaction because you're expanding so much more rapidly than you even know. So if we can convince you, and you know we are giving it everything that Esther's tongue can give, if we can convince you that what you're looking for is the satisfaction factor and it's moment by moment by moment by moment by moment. We gave an analogy the other day, and maybe it will resonate with you. Someone said to Esther that it helped them, so we're going to give it to you again. And that is, one day, many years ago, when Esther was still a teenager, she was giving a speech at graduation, and it was something that she and her mother had written weeks and weeks before, and Esther was determined that she was going to memorize it to deliver it. And so every time she got into the bathtub, she went as far as she could go. She went as far as she could go, and then she couldn't remember. And so then she would review it, and the next time she would be in the bathtub, she would go as far as she could go and that much further. And then she got to the place where she couldn't remember. And so then she would review it in the next day or two because she had weeks to prepare for this. So each time she would start at the beginning and then go as far as she could go, and start at the beginning and go as far as she could go, and start at the beginning and go as far as she could go. And before long, because what she knew, at the part that she knew from the beginning gave her the stability to expect that she could tack on the next part. You sort of getting what we're talking about? Some would think, well, of course she would learn that first part really good and the last part not so good. That's not the way that it works. Once you find stability, you can go further, and then you find stability and you can go further, and you find more stability and you can go further, and more and more and more and more and more. And this is what momentum is. But if you jump in at a manifested point too soon, then everything you believe about that is activated in your vibration, and you got some energies going toward desire and some energies going against them. You see what we're getting at? Where if you start in this new place, nothing will work against you. Nothing will work against you. If you start in this place that is unchallenged at the beginning, and you let it grow, and it will grow fast. One time a man said to us, I've lost my fortune and I don't know what to do. And I'm so old now, I'm in my 60s, I'll never be able to amass my fortune again. And we said, you've amassed a vibrational fortune. It's in your vortex. It's time for you to cash in your vibrational chips. You're not starting over from the beginning because your vortex is all full of who you are. And when you take these short steps and this short understanding of getting in sync with what that is, you will move so fast toward the things that you want. This is not a time-consuming thing. It's a powerful thing. There's a leverage in alignment that you just can't replicate when you're doing things out there with action. And yes, there'll be plenty of action. So much delicious action. You'll find yourself just wanting to get up and go and do and be and have the experiences. But each thing that you're inspired to do will be so in sync with everything that has come before that the entire universe will yield to you. You will feel like you have a concierge in the sky that's just opening doors for you everywhere. And those who are struggling all around you, you may feel a little sorry for them, and when you do, you'll lose your connection. And they're not struggling because they're bad, and they're not struggling because they're not wise. They're struggling because they're not starting at the beginning. They're not allowing the power of the universe. They're working against themselves. They're jumping into the manifestation part too soon and not allowing the momentum of the energy that creates worlds to build within them.